Well, howdy, and welcome to the 2023 Digital Marketing Plan for Roofers Workshop. My name is Chris Hunter, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer of roofingsites.com. I'm also the author of the Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. Okay, so in this workshop, this is going to be very hands-on. So I want you to take some time here. And by the way, thank you for tuning in and working on your business instead of in your business. This is something that what I find is about 90% or more of small businesses just don't take the time to do. They just go and go and go and go, and then they go home. Then they go and go and go and go, and then they go home. All of my workshops are built around something that we're going to do hands on and something that we're going to build your business with. Okay. That is the entire goal here. All right. So let's jump into it. The problem, there are lots of problems that I see on a day-to-day basis with roofing companies as I meet with them, as I look at their marketing initiatives, as I even talk to them about their businesses. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of these problems. And then there are several of these problems. The first is that most roofing companies, and I have already mentioned this, most roofing companies and small businesses just don't take the time to plan, right? And so what happens here is that it leaves your business in reactive mode, right? You're reacting to everything that's going on around you, and you're not really building anything, right? You might have gotten up to a certain point and then you're stuck because you're just not taking the time to work on it. Now, those of you that are listening to this, those are, later down the road on either YouTube or, Spotify or wherever that you're either listening to this or paying attention to this, right? Or you're in here, thank y'all. You're taking the time out to work on your business. So kudos to you. All right. But what I do see is that very few businesses actually do this. Okay. So I've got a saying that my business coach tells me all the time. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, right? Because you're not blocking out a special time. And even if it's an hour, even if it's 2 hours per month, per week, per day, right? Ideally, if you're doing that and taking time to work on your business and not in your business, then you're going to help your business, you're going to help your employees, you're going to help the people that you are helping anyways in your community, right? By growing your business and making it what you envisioned it to be, which comes to the next point is that, as a visionary of your company, are you even free to lead the company? Are you working in the business or on it? I know I've said that several times already, but those of you who are here, again, kudos. Those of you who are listening in, kudos to you. And just know that your competition most likely is not doing this. Okay. Which is great for you because you're going to have a leg up after this. Okay. So there are other things here, right? Several more problems, right? And several things that we're going to discuss today is, what should you budget for marketing in 2023? There's a big difference in marketing from 2022 to 2023. There's a lot of things that have happened in the past year, and if you haven't updated your marketing plan since, I don't know, 2018, this is going to be a wake-up call really for you. What initiatives should you plan for your marketing in 2023? What will you need in operations? We talk about things other than marketing with our clients, right? We talk about, getting the right person in the right seat for your organization. And this might be, a new foreman, right? A new general manager that is handling all sorts of your stuff for you so that can take you out of the day-to-day operations and really give you that bird's eye view of your company. Okay. All right. The other thing, that I notice with most of my clients, most of the people that I meet with is, when I ask them, what's your BHAG? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? What is your 5 to 10-year moonshot? Where do you want to take your company? Most of them have no earthly idea. They just know generally, oh, I want to make, $1 million. I want to make $5 million. I want to make $20 million. Okay, that's great, but that's not a real goal, right? It's a goal. Don't get me wrong. But if all you're focused on is the money aspect of it, you're not truly doing your business and your employees and your customers justice. Okay. So let's plan for this session. We're going to set clear goals and targets for the year. We're going to realign our KPIs and tracking to achieve the outcomes that you want to achieve. We're going to map out that plan for accomplishment, which includes like a budget, which is going to be the vast majority of this workshop. We're going to talk about that budget. We're going to talk about the channels, that you're going to work on and in, like things like, Google and SEO and Facebook and Instagram and whatever, right? There's tons and tons of things to focus on here. And what are the important trends right now for roofing companies? All right. And then hopefully we've built a plan by the end of this to set you up for massive success in 2023 and beyond. Okay. Okay. So if you will, go to this link right here, roofingsites.com/workbook. If you're listening to this, you can still go to that. That is roofingsites.com/workbook. This will take you to an actual workbook, and I'm going to pull it open here to that we're going to be working in. Okay. So in this workbook, we've got all sorts of really cool things, right? We've got, your goals, your targets, your marketing foundation. What is your message, your market, your message, and what media are you going to be, focused on? Your website conversion optimization, your 2023 plan and budget. So these things right here, okay, are the items that I want you to fill in here, right, as we're going through this. There's a lot of other things in here. I'm not going to go into too much depth on that because I've got slides on it and we're going to go through all this, okay? Before we go too far, who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Chris Hunter. Again, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of roofingsites.com. I work with roofers to help them get more leads and sales by getting their digital marketing right. I am also the author of the ultimate guide to digital marketing for roofers. That's a mouthful, right? But this is the past 23 years of my experience that is put into this book, working in the marketing industry. It is the exact blueprint of what you need if you want to do it on your own. Okay. My big, hairy, audacious goal is to double the size of 100 roofing companies before 2028. Okay. That is my mission. That's my BHAG, as well as the business. We are a member of the NRCA, the National Roofing Contractors Association. I am a father of three. I have three wonderful children. One who's about to graduate high school. He's a 17-year-old, wants to tear up the world. And, he's just having a blast, about to go off to college. I've got a 14-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter. So, I have been doing SEO since 1998. I realize that really dates me. As an old guy, right? But I put this in here to let you know that I kind of know what I'm doing on the SEO side of things. I've been doing it since before Google was even around. The first website that I ranked was on Yahoo, and that I realize that completely dates me. Yahoo no longer even has its own engine. It runs off of Bing. So, but when Google came around, I started focusing on that, and that, as a business owner, as a freelance web designer, which is what I was at that time, that was my focus, right? I started focusing on how do I outrank my competition? And I just got better and better and better at that. And then we started doing the same processes inside of our company for our clients. And we've just kind of grown ever since then. Random fact about me, I like to put these in here in these workshops and webinars, is that I love to backpack in the mountains. And in fact, I will be, if you're in Scouts, if you've been around Scouts, both of my sons are Scouts. I've got an Eagle Scout and an almost Eagle Scout, real close. We will be backpacking at Philmont this summer in the mountains, which is northern New Mexico. It's a Scout ranch in northern New Mexico. And again, my mission is to double the size of 100 roofing companies. This says 2027. It's really by December 31st, 2027, which is really 2028. We are well on our way to doing that. And simply by putting the processes in place that we're going to talk about today. Okay, let's take a breather here. The number one thing that we're going to do is we are going to set our goals. Is everybody with me on this one? Let's see some ones. If you're still with me, I know I talked about myself a lot right there, but this is a hands-on workshop. So is everybody with me? See ones. Awesome. Cool. Now, has everybody downloaded that workbook? I know that Ross threw that into the chat there. Awesome. One. Awesome. Cool. Yes. All right. Okay, so let's talk about your goals here. All right. What are your goals for 2023? When I ask roofers that, what I get? Well, I don't know. I have no idea. Or they give me I'm gonna make, 10 bajillion dollars, in this next year. Okay, cool. You know, However, is it realistic, right? And when I talk about goals with clients, I talk about SMART goals. Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they attainable, realistic, and timely, right? Those are SMART goals. And so when we set our goals, we have to think about those things, right? And I've got a quote here that says success is goals, all else is commentary. Okay. So I just like to throw in random quotes here and there. This is by Brian Tracy, who is a really big leader and good guy to follow. All right. Let's talk about this big blue ocean out there. Marketing, your business, there's a big blue ocean out there, right? And running a business is really, really similar to sailing, right? If you've got no wind, you've got no waves, you've got nothing going on, you have no wind in your sails, right? However, if you have clear goals, you are going from point A to point B, and your vision is lined out and you know exactly where you're going. Those goals equals the wind in your sails, right? Just like on a sailboat, if you don't have those winds in your sails, you're not going anywhere. So if you don't have any goals, you're not going to go anywhere, right? But we've got a picture here of a sailboat, right? I'm doing this mainly for our our podcast listeners that are going to be listening to this. Hopefully, is that I've got a picture. The front picture there had no wind in its sails, and this one has lots of wind, and it's just a sailing team that is just cruising along, right? So we need to set goals. So before we do that, though, we have to get a good picture of a good snapshot, if you will, of um, where you're at now, right? What's your average monthly revenue right now? What's your typical number of jobs run per month, right? How many jobs do you have? What are your other key metrics, like, what's your average ticket size? Meaning, I like to measure this as a KPI as re-roofs. Okay. So how many re-roofs, what is your average re-roof, ticket? Uh, most roofers that I work with are in between $15,000 and $20,000. Some of them, after they start working with us, actually move upwards from there, and that's just simply because we're working in different markets, we're working in different neighborhoods. But what is yours right now? What's your average conversion, on sales? Most people don't even know this number, right? That I talk to, they're like, well, I don't know. I think it's around 80%. And when we actually look at the numbers, it's really closer to about 25% from a cold lead coming into their business into an actual conversion for a re-roof or a sale or anything like that. Okay. And this is important to me. How many trucks do you have, right? This tells me how many foremans that you have going out in the field, right? Managing your different crews. If you've got one now versus five, right? There's a big difference in your company, from what I've been able to see working in the roofing industry. Okay. What's your long-term vision now, right? Let's talk about that. What's your annual revenue look like, right? Is it 5 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 30 million? Right? There's a big difference on what you're going to be focusing on in the next year to 5 years, right? So this long-term vision, this says 2025, right? That's only really what is that? 2 to 3 years from now, right? This is 2023. So we're talking, really in the next 3 years, by the end of 2025, where do you want to be? Okay, what's your annual revenue? How many trucks do you want? And really, let's boil it down to your why. Okay, why do you want to be there? Because that's a big driver for most entrepreneurs that I work with, right? Is why do you want to be there? Okay, is your son and daughter going off to college, and you want to make sure that you can pay for that? Okay, that you're making enough profit to be able to pay for their college. Do you want to retire in 5 years? Okay. If you want to retire in 5 years, you want to make sure that, again, you're making enough profit, that you've got enough revenue coming in, that you've got enough tangible assets that you can sell. Okay. All right. So now this is the fun part, right? Now, actually, before we go on, is everybody with me on this? Let's hear some ones or yeses in the chat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. 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 Ones. All right. Awesome. Okay. So everybody go to this link, roofingsites.com/2023-worksheet. Okay. If you're listening to this or seeing this later on YouTube, this will be down in the comments. Just click on that. If you're driving, obviously, and listening to this, as a podcast, let's go back to it later once you get back to the office. Okay. I don't want to cause any wrecks. Let me go pull that open real quick. And we're going to simply go through this worksheet. So what is this? This is our planning worksheet. Okay. This is how we figure out if you want to be, by the end of this year at a certain amount, we're going to figure out how many jobs that you actually need. What does that mean on a month-to-month basis? At the time of this recording and this workshop here, we're at the beginning in January of 2023. Okay. So if you look at this, let's go ahead and go down through this. All right. Does everybody got it open? I don't want to move on until everyone has it open. Yeah. Yep. One. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're going to start here at the very beginning and let's put in our revenue goal. What's your target this year? If you're 1 million right now, current, do you want to go to 2 million? That's probably realistic to do, right? So let's put in, and if you're at, let's say 1.5 million, right? Let's put in 3 million, right? It is not unrealistic to be able to double your company every single year. Okay. If your marketing and sales are in place, you should be able to do this. Okay. It should be realistic. Okay, so annual revenue goal, I'm going to keep in 3 million in here. Let's put in the monthly revenue target. Well, actually, we don't put that in. It calculates that out. Okay, so the monthly revenue target would be $250,000 per month in order to make $3 million per year. And the parts here, let's put in your average job value. Okay, so average job value, like I said earlier, is typically 15,000 to 20,000, sometimes more depending on where the roofer is, what market that they're in. Okay, so I'm going to keep 15 here. So the next one down says how many service calls would be required to hit your monthly goal. Okay, well, this actually is an easy calculation. You've got to hit 17. Okay, and that's 250,000 divided by 15,000 equals 17 jobs. Okay, now that should be pretty realistic to do, right? If you are at 8 jobs per month right now, right, which would be the $1.5 million level, then your average would be able to double that to 17 if you've got your marketing and sales right. Okay, so step number 2, number of leads required to hit target. Put in what is your average conversion rate, from a cold lead into a booked job. All right. Most of them, like I said, is around 25%. I'm going to put that number in here. Okay. Most of the people that I talk with, in your mind, you might be thinking it's 80%, but those are really probably referral leads. Think leads coming in from Facebook, right? Think leads coming in from Google, people calling you out of the blue. All right. These are not warm referrals. They've got to be treated differently for the most part. And that's what if we want to get into growth mode, we have to be thinking that. Okay. So 25% is an average closing rate. And then this will give us the amount of leads that we need per month to hit our target. And this is, if you're listening to this is 67 leads that we need. Okay. It's easy calculations here. All right. So I put in here a few other variables. Okay. Average cost per generated lead. What we see for pay-per-click leads for Google ads, and local service ads, typically around $87 per generated lead. Okay. So this gives us a budget down here of $5,800 because it's just, again, this is just multiplying this all out to get us to our end goal here, right? $5,800 is what we would need to spend on ads, right? If we were just doing ads, that's all we were doing. And, yes, of course, this varies by market greatly, right? Some folks in smaller markets, mid-sized markets might be able to get away with 2,000 here, right? But this is assuming that our average cost per lead generated is $87. If you're in a mid-sized market and you're able to get those leads for, let's say, $44, well, that puts us at around, 2,933. All right. Does that make sense to everybody so far on this sheet? All the numbers that we input, right, for our business are the white ones. Okay, right here. The green ones are automatically calculated. All right. Everybody with me so far? Thumbs ups, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, cool. Awesome. All right. So the next tab over here is our budget allocations. Now that we know kind of what we generally need to be budgeting for, right? Um, where do we actually allocate that? All right. So again, we're going to put in our numbers in the white fields here. Okay. So let's start up at the top. The annual projected revenue, I'm going to keep that at 3 million. Okay. Marketing budget spend. Okay. So I've got a little note in here. Okay. That is 8% is a general rule of thumb, right? 8% of overall revenue, not profit. All right. Not EBITDA, not any of that kind of stuff. We're talking about top line revenue. Okay. So if we take that, 3% would be at the low end, 15% might be at the top end. Okay. 8% would be kind of right in the middle there. Right. So, oops, let me go back to this and let's put in 8% and see what this looks like. Okay. So if we're going to spend 8% of our overall budget here for generating new customers, people that didn't know about us before, right? What are we gonna have to spend here? All right. So this gives us total marketing budget for the year of $240,000. That might scare some of y'all, right? If you're at $1.5 million, you're like, okay, well, that's a lot, Chris, right? Then maybe we could back off of that and say, okay, let's be more realistic at that 3%. Okay. 3% would say your total marketing budget, if you want to get to $3 million, would be $90,000. Okay. And so our average monthly budget then comes down to 7,500, which again is higher than what we've just discussed, right? So maybe we need to play with these numbers a little bit more. Let's go down to 1%. All right. 1% would give us $30,000 total marketing budget for the year and $2,500 in ad budget. Is that realistic? Again, it completely depends on your market. If you're in the DFW area, you need to be way more aggressive. You need to be saying, okay, maybe 10% of my budget, my annual marketing budget needs to be allocated for ads, okay? For getting in front of more people today than knew about me yesterday, okay? So, all right. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm going to keep this at around 3% here, what I had earlier, which is that 7,500. Still a little high, maybe 2%. We can play around with that to get us closer to that budget that we were talking about earlier. So this gives us a $5,000 average monthly budget. Okay, now this is the fun part. What do we allocate to online marketing? What do we allocate to offline marketing? What do we allocate to repeat business? Okay, so I am a huge believer in Pareto's law. Okay. If you don't know what Pareto's law is, that's the 80-20 rule. Hopefully, as an entrepreneur, you've heard of that. But basically, it says that 20% of your efforts are going to produce 80% of the results. Okay. Or vice versa. 80% of your efforts come from 20% of your results. No, vice versa. I just messed that one up. Okay. So 80-20, right, is the results is 80%, 20%. So what that comes down to, that says that little levers, right, push really big things, right? Because that's what a lever does. So how do we translate that into marketing? Well, online marketing, in my opinion, and this is what I've staked my entire career on for the past 23 years in the marketing industry, is the future of marketing is digital. Okay. It is not offline for the most part. It is not radio. It is not traditional media. Okay. It's not radio. It's not newspapers. It's not magazines. It's not even billboards for that matter. Roofing folks don't invest in billboards unless you have gotten everything else right. And then at that point, you just want to become the best known roofer in your area. Okay. You want to become omnipresent in your area. Okay. So anyways, right here, allocated to online marketing, I put 70%. All right. Offline marketing, 20%, and repeat business, 10%. Now, what does that mean for on repeat business? Well, these are things like making sure that we have things in our budgets, enough dollars in our budget to reward people that come back to us, okay, that refer business to us. We'll get into that in a little bit, okay, but let's just keep this whole ratio here, 70, 20, and 10, all right? Online marketing is 70% of your budget. Offline marketing is 20. Repeat business is 10%. Okay, so what this means over here, if you look over on the right side, this actually computes that out. All right. So out of our $60,000 budget, we've got 42,000 allocated for the year for online, 12,000 allocated for offline marketing. All right. Things like flyers, things like door hangers, things like signs, things like wraps for your trucks, right? To make yourself professional. And then $6,000 for that repeat business, those referrals that are coming into your business. Okay. Now, let's look down here. All right. And if you notice, we've got different areas that we can add different amounts to. Okay. I kept this pretty generic here, but you can play around with your number and change the percentages that you want to allocate per month. Because here's the deal, right? January and December are typically, for the most part, for most businesses, are pretty slow, right? Especially if you're in the north. If you're in the north and you're dealing with snow and all sorts of ice and all that kind of stuff, people just aren't going to call you during those months, right? Possibly heading into February if you're up north, right? But starting March, April, May, those are the months where we start to gain momentum. Okay. So maybe you want to allocate more money, right, during those slow times than you do during the busier season. Okay. And the reason I say that is because you want to stay and get in front of your target ideal audience. All right. You want to get in front of them and stay in front of them. And you want to make sure that you're not pulling back your marketing dollars during the slow times. It's just the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be pushing, right? You should be pushing ahead and allocating more money during those slow times, not less, right? Because you want to stay top of mind, right? You want to let people know that, hey, your roof still you still might have some issues up there, right? And let's get out there and let's look at those things. Okay. I'm going to leave this part alone. I'll let you play around with those numbers, but basically you could say, okay, well, I'm going to spend 10% in each of these months here and back off a little bit, let's say to 5%, in the stronger months, all right? And then when it heads into November and December, again down here, we want to go back up to 10% or whatever. Okay? So obviously 12 months, when you divide that out by 100% divided by 12 months is 8.33. So just know that. All right. All right. I'm going to leave that alone. Now, what this also tells us down here is that our online marketing allocation, right? What we're going to spend, what we said that we're going to spend up here, we want to put that in. In fact, I should probably switch that, right? Right. To just being pulled down here, right? In fact, it should be. It's taking from this number right down here, and that's why. Okay, this is our budget. This is what we're really gonna plan on spending right down over here. Okay, so next is we want to, really figure out on the online side of things, what do we want to allocate? Okay, so to me, SEO is your long-term digital marketing plan. You want to put some money towards that every single month. Your next is pay-per-click. This is your short-term plans, okay? And if you're doing it right, if your ads person is doing it correct, okay, this is a sustainable budget. All right. Display and remarketing. Again, this is online type marketing stuff, right? I've got those set at 5% of total budget right here. Okay. So we've got, if you're listening to this later, right, this is SEO is 35% is what I've got this set at. Pay-per-click and local service ads, your LSAs are 55% of your budget and then 5%. So we can actually look at this and say, so SEO comes to, out of our grand total budget of $39,000 per year, right? We're spending close to 14,000. So it's 13,671 is what we're going to budget for SEO. All right. Pay-per-click ads are going to be $21,000. And then display and retargeting, meaning that anyone goes to your website, you're going to follow them around with ads. Those typically you don't need to spend as much on, so that's at grand total for the entire year of almost about $2,000. So you can kind of see where those are split up. Now, again, these are all general rule of thumbs, 35%, 55%, and 5% for SEO, pay-per-click, and display / retargeting ads. Play around with those numbers, right? What's working for you? What's not working for you? Okay. If SEO, you need to put some more budget in there and pull some of that back from pay-per-click ads, that's fine. Let's do that. Right. Again, this is, since we're talking the first of the year, this is something that we need to think about and talk with our leadership team and see what's working and what's not working. Look back at our CRM. You've got a CRM, right? And you're going to see where those leads are actually coming from and where, most importantly, they're converting from. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the next worksheet, and I put in here just what we're seeing from kind of an average of our customers. What are the average costs per lead by source? So we've got roofing, siding, and windows, pay-per-click ads, Google LSA ads, repeat referral. Kind of the blended average of what we're seeing here. Okay, and this is just a computation that's actually averaging those things out. And down here at the very bottom of this, we've got our average transaction values, right? Roofing typically rent like we said several times here is 15,000, but if you're doing siding and windows, what's your average ticket value there? Average industry, what we're seeing is around 10,000 and for siding and 8,000 for windows. Okay. So these are all just generic. Generally, this is what we're looking at. Okay, everyone with me? What I want your homework, right, after this workshop is literally go out, fill this worksheet out. Okay, fill it out. Put in all of your numbers. What are the numbers that you want to allocate? Where do you want to be by the end of the year? How are you going to get there just based off of monetary budgeting here? Okay. If you need help with that, we can absolutely help. If you've been following along, you had that worksheet open, give me a 1 in the chats. All right, some ones. Okay. So those of you that didn't have that open and weren't putting your numbers in, or at least guesstimating your numbers, go ahead and go back and do that when we're done here. Okay. This is a very important exercise to do. Okay. Let's head back to our slide deck here. So what is your goal for 2023? Anybody wanna chime in here? What's your big goal for 2023? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Expand the markets.
Expand the markets. What does that even mean?
Just want to be able to put more roofs on more houses in new cities.
Awesome. So the next question is, how many leads will you need per month to get there? We just went off of our worksheet, right? And put those numbers in. How many leads do you need to get there?
I mean, it's probably going to be at least 3 to 5 booked appointments per week.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So let's talk about our marketing strategy now. Everybody ready to move on? Done talking numbers. Numbers is the most, sexiest thing in the entire world to talk about if you're in the roofing industry, right? No, I'm just being facetious there. Okay, so let's talk about marketing strategy. This is the 4R roofing marketing system. This is something that I have built, engineered over the past 20 years, 20 plus years, really. I think we're at 23 years in the marketing industry. I call this my 4R roofing marketing system. And I call 4Rs because there are 4 pillars that make up the entire system. Okay. You've got reputation, because your reputation is your complete foundation of everything that you do, as far as marketing goes. Okay. Reach is the next pillar. This is getting in front of more people today than knew about you yesterday. Resell is selling back to the people that have purchased from you before, because you're 8 times more likely to make a sale. Is just 80% easier, right? 800% easier, right? To make a sale to somebody who's purchased from you before. And I'm going to put this asterisk in here, and had a positive experience. Okay. The next pillar is referral, because we all know how great that referrals are, right? So, however, no business, none that I have talked with, not a single one, have an actual strategy, an actual plan for referrals, to get referrals in their business, other than leaving it up to their salespeople. Okay. That's not a plan, right? That's hope, and hope is not a plan for success at all. Okay. All right. So where do you need to focus the most? All right. As we look at this overall framework, is it And your reputation pillar, is it a high conversion website? Does your website convert leads from visitors, right? Does it convert into leads at least 3%? Do you even know how much it converts? A high conversion website is typically around 10%, okay, or more. Some websites that we see are 20, 30%, okay? So imagine if you can take a website that's converting at, let's say, a really poor at 1% or less and take it to a 5%. I mean, you 5x your business right there, okay, just by simply optimizing your website. All right, the next is your online reviews. Do you have good reviews? The vast majority of roofing companies have really poor reviews online, okay? Or even worse, they have no reviews online. Okay, so you want to make sure that your foundation, your reputation, that you have solid reviews and you have a lot of them. Okay. If you have, I've noticed, I went through an exercise a couple of years ago and went through 1,000 roofing companies, Google My Businesses, right? They're now Google Business Profile, but went through 1,000 of those and looked to see how many leads or leads, I'm talking leads now. No, how many reviews do they have? And I've noticed that the businesses with over 100 reviews had a really good website. They had a presence on Google. They had a presence on Facebook. They had a presence on TikTok. They had a presence in all of these different places, right? So what started formulating there is this theory that if your online reviews, if you have a solid reputation, okay, everything else is just that much easier. Okay. Reach for us is search engine optimization, getting ranked on Google Maps. That's a no brainer. You want to be at the top of any search engine result page. Google Ads, that's just another spot on that page, right? And they still work. Ads work. Ads, we want to make sure that we're staying omnipresent with anybody in our market, everybody in our market. Content marketing, this is, writing educational pieces for educational blogs. We use blogs for our content marketing. Education sells. So we write things for our clients. And then social media, are you posting pictures of your staff? Are you posting pictures of your jobs? Are you posting pictures of your online reviews? Okay, to your social media, to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. I mean, there are a ton of places out there that you should be posting on a regular basis. So the thing that I see a lot, by the way, when I go to roofing companies' social media channel, and they haven't posted in a year to 2 years, the very first thing that goes through my mind, and I guarantee your clients or customers, right, or potential customers, let me put it that way, is this business, is this company even in business anymore? Right? If that should be the very last thing going through anybody's mind when you want them to hire you. Okay. So make sure you're posting on social media. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on here. What do you need to focus on the most? All right. Out of everything that we just talked about, do you have all of those items set up? Do you have Google My Business? Do you have online reviews? Is your website converting at 3% or more? Okay. Are you able to be found on Google? Are you found on Google Maps? Or do you have LSA, local service ads, set up? Do you have Google ads set up? All of these things are super, super important, right? To set up at least one at a time, right? Us with our clients, we go in and we set this all up for them. But these are the things that if you're not going to hire someone like us to do this, then make sure that you're taking a step forward every single month and setting one of these things up and setting up a system for those pictures to go on social media, right? Who's doing that? Is that are you relying on yourself to do it as an entrepreneur? Well, guess what? We get pulled in 100 directions, right? Every single day. Are you relying on your sales staff to do that? Is that someone in-house? Is that like an office administrative assistant? Is that the office manager? Whatever, make sure that it's somebody's job to post those things on a regular basis. Okay. Next, and I show this to every single client, right? Some people have this in their mind that a website isn't important, right? That they can get all their leads from Facebook. They can get all their leads from, I don't know, Twitter, right? If they've got a strong Twitter presence. I want you to know that your website is the absolute hub of all of your marketing. That's where you're going to convert leads into sales. Okay. That's where you're going to convert random visitors coming to your website or coming into a lead. And then your sales is going to take that lead and make it into a sale. Okay. So remember, your website is the absolute hub of all of your digital marketing efforts. Okay. What you put on your website needs to be flowing to social media. Whatever you're putting on social media probably should exist on your website. Okay. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to skip ahead here because we are almost at an hour. I did this webinar last month on the 23rd. I don't know why I decided, right before Christmas that I was going to do that. You can go back and look at all those things, but I want you to focus at this point on the worksheet that we went through, the workbook that you downloaded, right? Fill all those things in. When we get out of this, I want you to really just focus on building your business, working on your business and not in your business. Okay. Does that make sense? Can I have ones from everybody? Everyone's still with me? We're right at 50 minutes. All right. So I'm going to skip right ahead here. Let's see if a PowerPoint will let me do this. All right. Let's see this. All right. It's not going to let me do this. All right. So I'm going to scroll right down through about 20 or 30 different slides. I apologize about this. Go back, watch the webinar that I did, the workshop that I did in December to get all of this. It is on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/roofing sites, all one word. Okay, so we talked about a lot of stuff here, right? We went over numbers. We went over, a few things. Do you have any questions, first of all, before we write down our action items?
And that the planning worksheet that you provided, we're able to go in and edit on that, or is that something
Oh,
that
well,
is?
that is a great question. I skipped over that part. So if you on that worksheet, right, you're not going to be able to edit that. Okay. So go in when you first open that link that we provided. And if you're listening to this later, it's going to be down in the comments, right? When you click on that, go to file and make a copy, and that'll make a copy into your Google Drive. Okay. And then you can edit it from there. All right. So everything that I did, you're going to be able to see all those numbers. Okay. That's a good rule of thumb on a lot of those things, but put in your actual numbers. And the way to do that is to make a copy into your Google Drive. So really good question there. Any other questions? Okay.
That should be all for now.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So what are your action items? What are your top things that you should do in this next quarter? All right. We're at the beginning of the quarter. We've got January, February, March for the first quarter for Q1. What do you need to do in this quarter to get prepared for your busy season? This could be operations. This could be marketing. Of course, we're talking about marketing right now, but let's put down our rocks, our top 3 things we need to work on in this next quarter. Okay. So go ahead and write those down. What are everybody's top action items? What's the very top one, do you think?
Figure out a marketing budget.
Yeah. Marketing budget. Yeah. That's the fun, sexy thing to do. It starts with your current snapshot, put in your numbers, go through the worksheet, allocate what you're going to spend for this next year, because you've got to have that roadmap, and the roadmap starts with your budget. Okay. Next one I'm going to put on every single one of y'all's plate here is your website. I can guarantee there's something that you can work on your website. If you haven't updated your website in 10 years, you are very far behind at this point. If you haven't updated your website in a decade, a lot has happened, right? This thing called a smartphone has come around in the past decade. And if it doesn't work on that smartphone, you're losing out on leads. People are bouncing right away, I guarantee, right? If it does work on mobile, great for you, right? If you haven't updated it, however, with strong call to action buttons, and this is going to be next month's webinar, by the way, we're going to go over what does it make, what does it take to make and design and build a high converting website. Okay. But just put website down there and just trust me on that one. You need to work on it. Your website is a living, breathing document. It should be changing at all times. You should be adding pictures and testimonials and pictures of your jobs, pictures of your staff, pictures of you and your family. Believe it or not, that helps on conversions, right? I see so many roofing companies that put like stock photos everywhere, right? Even stock photo of a random guy standing there that might look like a roofing contractor. It's like, it makes no sense. You're like, that's not what that owner looks like. That's a stock photo. And that's what goes through everyone else's mind when they see that. So anyways, we'll go into that next month in our workshop next month on what it's going to take to build a high conversion website. Number 3, I'm going to add this to your list, is Google My Business or Google Business Profile. Okay. Make sure that you're working on that you're top there, as well as have lots and lots of reviews. Okay. So Google Business Profile, make sure you are working on that now so that in the end of March, April, which is most roofing companies' start of their busy season, right, that you are placed in the right place at the right time, that people are searching for you. Okay. Okay. So what we covered today, we set goals. We did a lot of things here. Everybody get something out of this. Give me a 1 in the chat if you got something out of this. Awesome. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Good. I try to go over things that we haven't gone over before. I do this digital marketing workshop twice a year, typically in December and January, because it's that important, right? We need to plan out our year, all right, before we head into it and get busy. All right. I'm going to go through all this. So if you are still here and you need help with this, if you're not quite clear on your website or what to do with Google My Business, now Google Business Profile, Google Maps, or search engine optimization, LSA ads, Google ads, any of this stuff, we live, eat, and breathe marketing here at Roofing Sites. Okay. Literally. I mean, I wrote a book on it right here. If you do not have this book in your hand and you are a roofing company owner, go to go.roofingsites.com to not just download this. I'm going to send you a free copy of this book, right? If you're a roofing company owner. It's that important. My BHAG is to help 100 businesses double in size, 100 roofing companies double in size. This is one of the ways that I'm doing that, is to ensure that you have the blueprint in your hands in order to do it. Okay. All right. I have talked a lot, an hour. So if you go to roofingsites.com/schedule, you can book a time with me, one of my staff, right? And we're going to go over all sorts of great things, your online visibility, a custom keyword list. Yeah, Ross just put that as a link into the chat. We're going to do all sorts of things. We're going to give you a blueprint for what you need in order to double your company this year. Okay. From the marketing standpoint, as well as we're working on some things on the sales side of things as well. All right. So if you'd like to talk, give us a call at 888-308-2168 or go to roofingsites.com/schedule to get any of this set up in place for you and get you off on the right foot this year in 2023. All right. All right. Thank y'all for showing up, and y'all have a great month if I don't talk to y'all again. And let's go out. Let's double our businesses. All of us. Let's do it. Okay. Get into growth mode, get into planning mode right now, and let's make a plan. All right. Talk to y'all later.